So today we are going to be talking about our new device here at Ageless. We moved forward with the Optimas with InMode. So now we have some new microneedling with radiofrequency technology to offer. We're going to talk about both the handpiece and the body piece that's available. Here you're going to have multiple different handpiece options. And when we're doing our Morpheus8 for the face, it's going to be a fractional option. So we'll choose fractional. There are 3 different tips that are allowed to be put on the face handpiece. You can do a prime tip. The prime tip is specific for small areas. So you can do around the eye, above the lip, areas where the bigger handpiece can't really get to. Your normal face tip, which allows you to do full face and neck and a little decollete, if that's the option we chose. And then, new to us, because our other microneedling with radiofrequency technology doesn't have this option, is a resurfacing tip. So it's more ablative, superficial, fine lines, texture, tone, pigment, pores, things like that. And they may have a little bit more downtime with a treatment like this. So for Chrissy today, we're going to do probably all 3. So we'll start with the deeper one and the full face and neck tip first, which is the face handpiece. And then you have several different options. Your first option is what tip are we using? So I'm going to arrow up into the regular face, which is 24 needles, okay? And then you have the depth. Doesn't differ from our other technology here as far as depth goes, but you can go deeper with this machine. So the face goes up to 4 millimeters, the face handpiece with this 24 tip. Okay. Would you do 4 millimeters on a face? Probably not, unless you're trying to get rid of adipose tissue. Right. So to me, it's more neck and down, like especially the submental area or jowling, where you're trying to thin out and skin tighten. And then energy mode is going to be like our fluents, our joules of energy. So for her, and just from the treatments I've done with this machine so far, I'm going to start with 20, but I'm going to increase. So you can do, it's all done with the foot pedal. There's no hand button. So again, like the Ageless, and it could be a single pulse or it can be put on continuously. So I'm just going to leave it on single for right now until we get comfortable. I'm going to go a little pinch, 1, 2 pinch. Sorry, you okay? Okay. You guys can always, like our normal dental blocks too, if you need to go there. You know, you could always just hit your 3 main spots or whatever, but it's a little bit of a less of a risk doing it more superficial. You got one more, 1, 2, big pinch, 3. Sorry. So I'm going to start at 20 and hopefully go up. Okay. But I do think there's some benefit for the client to increase slowly. I think they get used to it a little bit better that way. And then I'm going to go 3 millimeters deep because I'm literally working in this area. And I'll go less deep as we work up, same with what we're used to. Cool. But the biggest thing with this is that the 4 squares are down on the face, all 4 corners, okay? And you don't want to hit that pedal until that happens, okay? So that would be why you would also not put it on cycle mode until you're comfortable, because it's not like our other technology where if it triggers early, it's okay. 1, 2, pause. You okay? And you gotta push hard, because even if the needles were to push the 4 corners out off of the skin, they can still get an arc burn. So it's a little different than what we're used to. Also, it's a lot of area that does not treat it. So you're doing, in your head, you're doing a 50% overlay, but you're really not doing a 50% overlay. Okay? How bad was that on a scale from 1 to 10? Not so bad?
Yeah, not at all. 1.
So since she's at a 1 and doing fine, something else I've learned from using this machine a couple times is they do have more of a delayed reaction. So if you look and you're like, oh, she's good, by the time I got up here and looked, it was a lot redder than what I thought it was going to be at the end point that I reached, if that makes sense. I'm going to turn the machine up a little bit as far as heat goes, and she's at 3 millimeters right now, so pressing pretty hard, all 4 corners are down, doing a 50% overlay. And like InMode's recommendations say not to go over 20, and we're at 25 right now, but with injectable lidocaine. So just kind of keep all that in mind. And then the other thing is with the face, you still have to do multiple passes. There's no burst mode, right? So you still have to do multiple passes, and you're still going to probably switch it up a little bit as far as the depth goes, because right now the only energy that's being delivered is being delivered at 4 millimeters. 3 millimeters, correct, thank you. The other thing with that I noticed by getting my own treatment, and just like any other machine, the heat builds up. So after you get a good pass or two with 50% overlay, you may have to, for patients' tolerance and comfort, if they're uncomfortable, space it out a little further. So let's say we do 1 at 2. So since now I've got 2 passes in, I'm going to do this pass, but then I'm going to go all the way up because I'm at 2 and I can do 2 up here, right? And that will also give this area a little bit of time to let the heat relax. But you'll also kind of be able to get feedback from her, the difference between being injected with lidocaine down here and not up there. So the pain difference on a scale from 1 to 10 from your cheek and your lower face, how many numbers difference is it? How much worse is it up here?
I'd say like a 1 to a 3.
So I'm gonna go up to 1 now. It only also, from what I know of, only goes in 1 millimeter increments, so there's no 2.8 or 2.5. I mean, this is my 5th pass down here and 3rd different level. So this will be the end for me for her lower face. And since I'm at 1 now, I'm actually going to move up a little foreskin down and get a little closer to her eye. But we're also going to use the eyepiece for it. So if she can tolerate a little bit higher on the lower side of her face, just for learning purposes. Rule of thumb from what I've learned from conferences and the trainers so far is if they can tolerate a setting, you can probably go up by 5. Not 1s on radio frequency. So at least more than 1, maybe not 5 if you're uncomfortable, but I guess 1 doesn't do a whole lot of anything. I mean, she's at 30. Great. And she'll have a great result. Millimeters and 30 are up. I think it's a good takeaway with consults and educating our clients is the difference that we are able to do injectable lidocaine in a setting like this, at least for those people that are ready to bite the bullet, be aggressive. And
have you played around continuous? Like how fast does it go?
it has 2 settings, 0.5 and 1.5. I don't know exactly what that correlates to in seconds, but it has a pulse count on here too. So maybe a second question would be an average pulse count that they're used to at the training. Going to depend on the settings. So like we're high with radio frequency right now. So I think it's more important to look at the endpoint, because I may get to an endpoint with this high radio frequency in 2 passes, where someone may take 4 to get to at a lower radio frequency number. Okay. Heard it once, but you got to have all 4 corners down versus our other technology here. So what I'm going to do is use one of my favorite post-care products. It's by BioPel, and it's their Intensive Serum 40. And this can be used on ablative skin for any ablative procedures to increase healing and to add some stem cells to the area. The BioPel 40 comes in a little capsule like this, or you can just, between your fingers, you activate the serum there. And then we're just going to put it on top of the skin. This technology is different than most technologies we're used to with a post-care serum because it was found upon research with snails. And snails would secrete a serum to heal themselves when they were injured, and they would heal very quickly. So now we're able to utilize that technology to increase any ablative healing procedures. If we let a client clot or scab on the skin, it's going to increase the healing time for them. So we try not to let them leave with any of that. So we went ahead and treated Chrissy's face here with the Morpheus8, and we've done her full face and neck, and now we're going to move into the décolleté. The décolleté is an area of concern for many women who have the lines starting to show, especially after they sleep and wake up in the morning or throughout the day. So we're just kind of changing our settings up, and we're going to move on down the décolleté area. So we are completely finished our Morpheus8 treatment here on Chrissy. We did full face, neck, and décolleté. we were able to utilize all 3 of the tip options. So we did the prime smaller handpiece around the eyes. We did face 24 pin tip on full face, neck, and décolleté. And then we went back with our resurfacing hand piece or the tip and finished other areas, which is great for like superficial crepiness and acne scarring and things like that. We kind of kept her pain scale throughout the whole treatment. I think maximum was a pain of 3 or 4 out of 10. She said her neck was a little bit more sensitive than the other areas. And right now, her only concern or complaint would be some heat coming from the neck area. You'll be red. You can already see the redness dying down from the area we treated first. So she'll be red throughout the night and probably much better tomorrow morning, able to apply makeup tomorrow. We also did utilize the BioPel serum, so that may also help with the redness. And we were able to reach high energy levels on her, so she may only need 1 treatment. Recommended from InMode would be the higher energy levels. You could do 1 to 3 sessions depending on the goals and the outcome every like 3 to 6 weeks. If we weren't able to get as high as we did on the energy level, someone may need more sessions spaced out over that same amount of time every 3 to 6 weeks. But and in maintenance is anywhere from like 1 to 2 times a year if needed. So we are now offering this service here at Ageless. If you guys have any questions, you can always reach out at any time. We would love to answer any questions you have for us, or feel free to go ahead and schedule a consult or a treatment. Thanks for joining us.